Welcome back, I'm Paul, and we've got an empty lotto barrel, so we're ready to get started with another batch in the lotto tumbler today. We've got another pretty mixed load here of some different things that we've been working on, and some of it's about the end of it, so we'll be having some more new stuff coming up out of their 12-pound barrel in the near future. So we're going to look at a few of the things that we're putting in today. One of them is going to be a Crowley Ridge agate that we got from a subscription giveaway from our friend over our Will Bond Cajun Rockhound. So we won a subscription contest, and one of them that was in there kind of looks like it's already been possibly ran in like course grid or something, but we're going to throw it in the lotto and see what kind of a shine we can get on it. And then we have a couple pieces of band and iron formation from a subscriber that sent us some stuff, and I'm really excited about this one. It's got some really cool stuff going on. This one's going to look really nice. And then this one also will. But this one, on the last run in the course grit, it was just about ready to go, and then it got this little chip right there. And I thought about running it some more, but it's already gotten pretty small from running in the course grit, so I'm just going to go ahead and polish it, and I'm going to live with that. If I ever can't, it kind of has some cracks in it, so it looks like it could possibly break up more, so I don't want to throw it back in the course grit. But that thing is going to look awesome. And then we've got some more pieces of our petrified wood that we've been working on. And there's a whole bunch of Unikite and Tiger Eye and some Labradorite that we're going to be putting in this batch. Might as well get my funnel out. And there's some really nice pieces of Tiger Eye in there. That's dry. And then that's pretty well wet. And we've got a little bit more rose quartz and a little bit of amethyst in there yet. We've got this one white rock. I don't know exactly what that is, but it looks really nice. It tumbled up good in the course grit, so we'll give it a shine. I don't know if we have anything else real fun in here today. A couple pieces of crazy lace. Well, there's just one piece of crazy lace in there, I guess, but another one we don't know. Alright, so we'll get all this stuff loaded up. There we are. We got a little ceramic media here, so we'll go ahead and get some of that in. I may need a little bit more, I'm not sure, but once we get it on the tumbler and get it rolling, we'll add some more if we need to. So we'll go ahead and get the water dumped out of that. We'll get the camera set up on the tumbler, and we will get it going into medium, the 120-220. All right, all the water's dumped out and everything's wet, no standing water. I've been doing a kind of a split run on my medium grit, so we're going to head and do it the same way I've been doing it, like that. So I'll do 1 tablespoon for a day to a day and a half, and then I'll dump it, rinse it, and do another tablespoon for a day or a day and a half. And then that'll be the all for the medium grit. So it'll be 1 tablespoon. Alright, we got through the medium grit stages, and I dumped them and washed them all up and put them back in the barrel with some borax and did a little wash cycle. And now we're ready to rinse them all off and get them cleaned up good, and we'll be ready to go to the 500 grit aluminum oxide. Everything's looking really nice. I'll go through them and clean them a little better, get the toothbrush out and clean any holes or any cracks in them, and get the barrel scrubbed out real good, and we'll get set back up on the tumbler and we'll be ready to go to the 500. Everything's scrubbed up really good, back in the barrel. Everything's wet, no standing water. So we're going to get them going on 500 grit aluminum oxide. It'll be a half a teaspoon of grit and a tablespoon of borax, and we'll go for 3 days. Alright, this batch just got done with the 500 grit aluminum oxide, and I dumped them, rinsed them, and we put them back in with a tablespoon of borax and ran a little wash cycle. Rinse them off here, we'll take a look. Everything's feeling good, looking nice. Maybe I'll grab a couple out and let them dry and see how they're looking after the 500, and then I'll get them washed up a little better. We'll get set up on the tumbler, get going on 1000 grit. All right, everything's all scrubbed up. Everything's wet and ready to go. I did pull a couple of my favorites out so we can see what they look like dry. This is the Crowley Ridge agate, and it looks pretty darn nice already just being through 500 grit aluminum oxide. I'm pretty happy with that. We're just going to increase the shine doing the 1000 grit and the polish. And then the other one that I pulled out and let dry was this piece of banded iron formation. And it looks really nice. And it's got the metallic look to it. I really like that piece. It's really cool. And it's already pretty shiny. I'm pretty impressed with that aluminum oxide so far. So we're going to do half a teaspoon of the 1000 grit aluminum oxide and a tablespoon of the borax, and we will run for 3 days. Well, we're all done with the 1000 grit. It ran for 3 days, and I dumped them and washed them quick and put them back in with a little borax and did a little wash cycle, and now we're ready to rinse these off, take a look at them, and we're ready to go to polish. I'll probably pull a couple of them out and let them dry off so we can see how they're looking after 1000 grit, but I'm betting they're pretty shiny. Alright. Everything looks really nice. I'll go ahead and wash everything up better and wash the barrel a little bit more. And we'll get over to the tumbler and get them going on polish stage. Alright, everything's washed off really well. And back in the barrel and water's all drained. I've got a couple of them here that I pulled out and let them dry off. One of them's our piece of our banded iron formation. And these things look really good after 1000 grit. I mean, they could almost be called done, because they look pretty darn nice. But I'm sure they get a little shinier in the polish stage, so we're going to run it. And we got a piece of our petrified wood. It's looking pretty darn good. And then also I pulled out our Crowley Ridge agate that we've got in this batch. And it's looking really shiny. It's looking good. The backside, a lot of these have a lot of pits and holes in them because they're weird, but the backside, this side of it is nice and smooth. It looks really nice. And this side here, you know, as far as getting rid of flaws, you'd never get rid of those. But if you see the really nice banding right there on the edge, so they're looking good. So we'll go ahead and get half a teaspoon of the polish and a tablespoon of the borax, and we'll go for 3 days. This batch finished 3 days in the aluminum oxide polish, and I dumped them and rinsed them all off, cleaned them up pretty good, and put them back in the barrel with borax and did a little wash cycle. So now they're all done. We're ready to clean them up and let them dry and see how they look. Everything looks real nice, but they always look good wet. So we'll go ahead and clean them up. I'll scrub them a little better and get all the grit out of all the cracks and crevices, and we will let them dry off and take a look at them, see how they're looking. Well, this is our second batch running aluminum oxide on the 500 and 1000 grit instead of silicon carbide, and just like the first one, they turned out really nice. They've got a really good shine. Everything looks really good. The only thing that doesn't look too good is the labradorite, and I've had some issues with some fractures on it, and I don't know if that's just kind of the nature of the beast with that or what it is, but I need to do a little bit more research, and possibly it was the quality of the stuff I got too. I'm not sure, because it was my first time really tumbling any of it, but I got to do some more research on the labradorite, but we'll see how that goes. I'll go ahead and pull the camera off to the side here, and we'll take a look at some of it, and I'll show you some of my favorites out of the batch. There wasn't anything terrible special in this batch. A lot of stuff that we've just been tumbling for a while. A lot of the tiger eye and unikite and a little bit of rose quartz and a couple pieces of amethyst. So I'll pull out here some of the tiger eyes. It all turned out really nice. It's got a really good shine to it. Some of it's got a little bit of a blue look to it, like this one. You can kind of see it in the middle there, right between my fingers. There's that one band, there's some blue streaks in it. So the tigerite that I got's got a little bit of blue mixed into it here and there. I don't know how well that shows up on the camera that there's some blue in that, but there's a little blue. Here's another piece that's got a little bit more blue in it, you can see. And it shined up really nice. It looked good. I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad we made the switch, and I think we'll continue with that. And here's some of the Unikite. We're not going to look at too many of them because there's a lot of it that all looks the same. There's some of the Unikite. And we've been running this. I think we're just about done with most of the Tiger Eye and most of the Unikite. I'm sure we've got a few random pieces in the 12-pound barrel here and there that we'll be running yet, but not a lot. And there's just a couple pieces of amethyst here. It looks really nice. Some really dark purple stuff. It's still got some fractures in it, but a lot of those kind of go all the way through this stuff. It wasn't, I don't know, wasn't the best stuff that I've seen, but it's a little bit different style. I think it was Moroccan. I got a couple pieces of crazy lace here. All those bands just look awesome. And then there's one of these. One of the darker pieces. Mostly dark reds. Kind of almost a black look to it, but it's got some bands going on. And there's this piece. Kind of a little guy. Not a whole lot going on, but it still looks good. We had this random. I'm not exactly sure what this is. If it's an agate or what it is. It almost kind of looks like it's got some, maybe like some plume going on in there, but I'm not 100% sure. It's just, I don't even know where it came from. It just made its way into this batch. Turned out pretty nice. We've got a few pieces of this petrified wood. I don't see a whole lot of them here, but there's one of them. This stuff's got some pretty cool stripes on it. And there's some sections of the petrified wood that don't shine as well. And I read that there are areas where when it gets petrified or whatever, there's not as much silica in it, and it doesn't petrify as well, I guess you would say. So it has some spots in it that doesn't shine as well. And this is another piece of our petrified wood. We got this white and gray stuff. This has got a big chip and crack in it, but I guess I could have broke it down. But we'll live with it. It's just a little guy. And there's a white piece here. I don't know if this is quartz or what it is, but it shined up really nice. There's a couple of fractures you can kind of see deep in it, but we weren't going to get rid of those, so we gave her a shine. It looks nice. We'll get to some of the favorites here. This is a piece of banded iron formation that we got from a subscriber. Got from a viewer, I should say, but a subscriber. And it's really cool. I really like all that metallic going on in there. It just looks really awesome. It's got a really good shine to it. Turned out really nice. And this is another piece of banded iron formation, and this thing is just awesome. I mean, it looks like chrome. It is really cool. As soon as I saw this piece, I thought, man, if that polishes up nice, it's going to look good. And you can see it is like a mirror. Looks like a shined up piece of metal. That thing's awesome. That's definitely going in my favorites jar for sure. I really like that piece. And this is the big piece of tiger eye that we had in this batch. It looks really nice. Doesn't want to focus real well. It's too shiny. It's a problem I'm willing to accept. And another piece of petrified wood that came from one of my favorite pieces that we cut up. I don't think we have too many more of this kind that we're waiting on polishing yet. I think most of it's about done. But I just love the way that this stuff looks like. It just looks like a chunk of wood. And it shined up real well. That's that. And then I think the last one that we'll probably look at here is one of the rocks that we got from another YouTuber's subscription giveaway from Will Bond Rockhound. We got some Crowley Ridge agates, and this one was kind of really smooth. On the bottom side there, it's pretty pitted, and that's just kind of the nature of these things. A lot of them have formations in them like that, but you'll have some of the sides that are just nice and smooth, and they've got some pretty good bands in them. You can see the bands there, and you can see the bands on this side. And this one looked like possibly it had been tumbled in coarse grit or something, or it was just really river worn and smooth, but I didn't even run this in coarse grit. I threw it right into this Lotto Tumbler batch on the medium grit the way I got it, and it turned out really nice. It's got a good shine to it. And I think that that's about all we had for this batch. That was too exciting. This is definitely my favorite out of this one. This piece of banded iron formation is really cool. I really like that. I was going to get a magnet and see if it sticks, and I forgot, so I guess I'll have to check it, and maybe I'll let you know. But that's all we've got for today, and I hope you enjoyed our video. And go ahead and give us a thumbs up, and if you want to see some more of our tumbles coming up, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching.